What we have here is a 1964 Galaxie. This is a 500XL. And a little interesting story, I have zero business being on Craigslist or eBay or OfferUp or any of those things. When I get bored, my go-to thing is to just kind of look through Craigslist and look through eBay, and that's kind of how this car came to be. So I had just watched Men in Black 3, and I had come to this realization that I've never owned a 64 Ford Galaxie, and so 1964 Ford Galaxie Black is what they used in Men in Black 3, which is a great movie if you ever get a chance to see it. So I found this in, I think it was Iowa. It was on eBay. It was gold, a tan interior, had been painted once, but was in relatively good shape, and it wasn't rusty, which is a huge plus. And I put a deal together with the seller and bought it, transported it out here, and it ran really well. And so it sat around. It sat for probably close to a year. I had thought about selling it off to a few friends of mine overseas, and it just never really happened. So had an open slot in the body shop at some point to do some paint and body work, and we said, hey, let's do the Galaxie. So decided I'm going to paint it black. I want it to look just like the car, you know, from Men in Black 3. Now, I went with a red interior instead of an ivory colored interior, which is what was in the movie car. And I elected to not do the full wheel covers. I went with the dog dish covers. So these are the original 14-inch wheels. And what we did is we put like an 1.5 inch spacer on all four corners just to push the wheel out a little bit farther. Enough to not make it look like it was a railroad car, but enough to make it fill the wheel well out and not rub. It's a 352 car, you know, and on all Ford products, the best way to tell the engine size is the fifth character of the VIN. The fifth character of the VIN is the engine tell-all. So whether it be a Galaxie, this is an X code, which means it's the 352. They made a 390, they made a 427. They made so many variants of these cars with different engines, 289s, 6-cylinders, you name it. The 352 is probably the most common engine used. It is a big block. It's used in all the F-Series pickup trucks, and it's just super reliable. And so a 352 is a real suitable power plant for this car, and it runs really well. It's a great cruiser down the road. This comes with power steering, manual brakes, no AC. But we sent all the bright work out to have it redone, polished, and everything that needed chrome, we re-chromed. The window glass was in amazing shape, and just, you know, it's all in the details. You know, for me, when I do a car restoration, I get a little carried away. A lot of people will just call it a paint job, and it's hard to just look at that beautiful paint without noticing all of the little ripples and dings and dents on the aluminum finish work and stuff. So I always go out of my way to make that perfect, and that's what we did with this car. So yeah, man, it's a great car, and I've had fun with it, and I will probably cut this one loose. This will probably be for sale here soon, and you know, there's something to be said about a 64 Galaxie. You know, if you look at this car, it's very similar to what Chevrolet was producing with their Impala, their Impala lineup, 63, 64 Impalas. We did lower this a little bit. We cut the spring slightly and brought it down a little bit to make it sit just a little lower to the ground, which I think is a great finish work. And really fun car to drive. It's actually gets a lot of attention, and it's really kind of a car that people forget about. You know, everyone restores 64 Impalas and 63 Impalas, and this car is a very comfortable driving car. This happens to have what I call the T-Bird package because it actually came out of the factory with bucket seats and a center console. Most of these had bench seats in them. This is an automatic on the floor, which is great. It's not on the column. And great car, you know, and this is a pillarless. There's no B-pillars on this car, so when you roll the windows down, it's basically a hard top. So that's always fun. Oh, and something else that we did different on this, I kind of wanted to, when we had the aluminum sides repolished, we went in and painted the inserts of the moldings in an argent color. And we also used that same argent paint for the back rear tail panel, which kind of breaks it up a little bit, kind of a neat finish. And it just so happens that argent paint we carried through to the inside of the door panels. So the front door panels also carries that argent paint, as well as the rear door panels. And we also used that argent to fill in around the fresh chrome we did on the center console. So it really ties together nicely. And we redid everything on this car. We installed a new dashboard, complete new interior, new headliner, new carpet, lots of new gauges. All the chrome went out and had it all polished. One of the wind wings had a few too many pits in it, so I found a really nice one on eBay and I sent it out and had it re-chromed. All of this A-pillar finish is just really sets this car off. When you look at all the polish work on this thing, and you look at the tops around, this is one of my favorite bodies. Love this car, but again, I'm glad that we had an opportunity to do this car. I'm super excited that it came out as well as it did, and so now it's time for it to go to its new owner. All right, and under the hood, we kept it relatively original. Again, the 352 big block. It pretty much has the options that it had when it left the factory, and that is power steering, has manual brakes. Car runs beautifully. We did rebuild the carburetor, and when we put it back, when I changed the color to black, you really have to go all in. When you commit to a color change, it's not just painting the exterior. There's nothing worse, in my opinion, when you're doing a beautiful restoration, to not have the door jambs and under the hood or under the trunk done. I didn't want any signs of this car being gold, so we took it all apart and we painted it properly. Unfortunately, it's expensive, and it's not cheap to do a complete color change on a car when you're going to the extreme that we go to, but the payoff sure is there. So anyway, thanks for checking us out. I hope you enjoy this car. I know I do. And if you like what you see, please give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends. If you have someone looking for a car like this thing's going to be on the market here relatively soon. So it is virtually a new car. Thanks for watching.